it a king or a coho? Whoa.
I don't like that, John. Here's your guess.
I guess we know what it is.
See if we get him to jump right in the boat, huh? He ain't ready yet. But we'll make him ready. There we go. Come aboard.
Come on.
Man. Yep. About time, and that works. That was a pretty hot nook jumping out of the water like that. Let's get that other one reeled in.
Oh, it is. Come on.
What kind of nooks jump like that? That's pretty good. That was like SeaWorld right there. And that was on Johnny Lava, but look what popped out of his mouth. I mean, you had it the whole time. Yeah. Pinned in the net, off, just like that. The water right now is 64, so it's pretty warm. I mean, it came right out of really warm stuff, so we're gonna get this guy iced up. But here, Josh, here's your fish.
It's a good little king. It was pretty hot.
It was hot.
It was jumping like it was a coho. I mean, holy smokes. He's gonna eat great though, I bet. That was a good little king.
Let's get him bled out.
Thank you.
And then I like to take the knife right down the top of the mouth right there. Okay, and then I cut straight through. You can see it just bleed out both sides. And then head down in the bucket, and that'll bleed out pretty good. Let's do that for about a pass, and then we'll put it on ice and we'll do that in a little bit. And then I'm gonna put some bait in it. Let's show you what we got going. We got a tuna krill. Look at the color of that. It's pretty. It's mostly krill with a little bit of tuna. But yeah, so I'm just gonna fill this cavity up like most of the stuffed baits we have, but get it full and then clean it off the sides. You don't put too much, you want it to close in the back. Got that rubber band on there, and that's it. That's gonna hunt.
Do not grab it. Apparently I only need to film his rod.
Cojito.
Man, he hammered it. Yeah.
A nice fish though, you know.
Come on.
We'll take it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Come on.
That's a great Cojito right there.
Yeah.
The standing joke with me is I catch really small kings. It's a coho.
That's not a bad fish. This is a good Johnny Lava once a year. Sweet. Leave him off. Nice one. Bleeding like a stuck pig there. Look at that. fished in.
Yeah, right? You were just putting it down. Crazy idea.
That one kind of kicked my butt.
That made you earn it.
Come on.
Good fish. I had a rack for that, but it dog took it. Good one. Like fish.
Who's up? George.
I don't think so.
See any head shakes?
I just felt one.
The one.
Oh, it's there. I'm gonna release that one, okay, guys? Yeah. Hey. Nope. Still work. That's a nice fish.
Let me know if you want me to clear anything, Kyle.
What's that?
Let me know if you want me to clear anything.
Pretty manageable so far.
Manageable so far.
Got a little weight to it.
Yeah, he had a good take on
Yeah.
it, didn't he?
Not really fighting yet, you know? May not really know he's really hooked yet. He was just average. He was just done.
All right. Look at that.
That's like the magical rings. Free! Those quick, clear little fins on that thing.
Beautiful.
It's a beauty. It's a beauty.
Good work.
It's a good one. It's got long-tailed lice on this side.
What's cool, you know, is we're talking about catching it and cooking it. The coho are tough to beat in terms
Sure
of meat.
are.
We'll fillet them at the end of the day. We'll show. I mean, it's important out here on these fall fish. If you want to eat them and you want them to taste great, is to get them packed on ice. I don't know. Take a look at this. You'll see. I mean, these things are just. You got fish buried all the way down there under the ice. So I always bleed them out. Ice, fish, ice, and I'm pretty strict strict on it so we have good fish. Nothing worse than having that nice fish you get and then leaving it out on a warm boat. So that's it. The skinnies today pretty good. We're gonna add one more. So I'm gonna put one on one of those front rods and see if it goes.
Heck?
Little coho.
Got it. Control it straight here.
Yeah, it is. Leave it to me. Well, not that good.
You gonna pop it off, or what do you?
I'll kill it. I'll kill it. I'll get mine and we'll put one rod away. That's just fine.
There you go. Yeah.
But not the biggest guy, but we'll take it. We're looking for a lot of fish today, so this works.
Alright, so that's the end of the day. Had another great day fishing with Kyle, and like we showed earlier in the video, took really good care of the fish, kept them on ice, and now we're going to do another part of the video where we're going to show canning salmon, which I've never seen. Daniel's brother George is going to do it. But again, awesome day with Kyle. If you guys want to get out and fish, he's going to be here all fall. And he also does steelhead, as you guys know from the past, in the winter. So get a hold of him. Thanks, Kyle.
It's pretty good fishing, man. I mean, it's going to be good through at least the closure, October 15th, and then after that, bobber fishing, you know.
Yep. So we got Coho until October 15th.
Yeah, that's when the closure is, and after that, then I kind of move upriver. So
Perfect.
yeah.
Well, thanks for watching.
Yep.
And we'll see you in the next one.
Alright guys, today we're going to be showing you how we love to process this fish for the winter. My favorite way to store salmon long range is to can it. It's always going to taste exactly like you put it in the jar if you can it properly. So it's long been my favorite way to preserve it. You saw us catch a bunch of cohos the other day. I've been working on getting them canned, but I saved off and we're going to do the Chinook today. We're going to take you through all the process. So the first thing is down at the river, guys. We like to clean our fish at the river. I'm sure you've seen in the elevated videos, we do a lot of filleting at the river. There's a bunch of reasons for that. We like to get it off the bone. We like to give back to the river. It's very important for the river to put the carcasses in it if you can. So we like to give back to the river, and we like to get our salmon home, and then we give it a good rinse. Now, I personally like to stick it in the fridge for at least 24 hours before I process it into the cans. So we got some good fall king here. It's been filleted and it's gotten a river wash, and it's also gotten a wash once we got home. And I'm gonna go ahead and give it a final wash. The reason for this is because after it's had time to set, you'll notice sometimes blood, this is pretty well treated here, but sometimes blood will come to the surface and things like that over the 24-hour resting period. You'll miss scales, things like that. I want all this stuff cleaned off before I start to process it. So nice cold water. Gonna give it a rinse. Get all the blood, the scales, everything that might not be desirable in that fish. Nice and clean. All right, then the next stage is I'm going to give it a nice pat down. Some paper towels. Just remove any last bit of that slime that might be on here throughout the process. All right, so next, guys, is with the cleaning process of this with the knife. I've got a nice chef knife here. I'm going to remove the rest of these rib bones. I'm going to come along the back. I'm going to take care of all of this brown. A lot of people don't mind this being in there. I always have. I just feel like it gets a much better flavor if all this stuff gets removed. You'll notice that I leave the pin bones in, right? The pin bones are usually enough calcium in them to preserve them, and they will completely dissolve. As I do more of these cooking videos, guys, you'll know that when I cook salmon fresh, I always remove the pin bones because they drive me crazy. But in the canning process, they completely dissolve. So, plus they help with the preservation. So I'm just going to finish by cutting these rib bones off, get rid of the waste. I'm going to go ahead and cut right at an angle down this side. A nice sharp knife is very nice for this process, guys. Also, guys, whenever I'm going through this process, I just look for anything. Like you can see a blood where it didn't quite bleed properly there. I'm just going to get rid of that. All right. Let's do another one. Like I said, a lot of people will they'll just stake it and put it in the jars. Some people will leave the skin and the rib bones on. I canned a bunch of different ways before I came to the method that I kind of like. So don't be afraid to try several different recipes before you get into this. Now what I'm doing now is I'm just cutting it into roughly 1-inch squares. You don't have to, this isn't rocket science here, guys. The concept for this is you basically want the salmon to pack into these jars, and we'll get into that in just a second. You want this salmon to pack into these jars as tight as you can get it. That way you're saving on jars. And you're going to have all different sizes in here. When we get into the packing, I'll show you why that's kind of nice, actually. I'll put that in with the stuff that I prepped out already, and then we'll get on to the next stage. All right, guys, I've got all my salmon in jars now. I'm going to go ahead and put a 1/4 tablespoon of salt in each one. I've always used kosher, never had any problem with it. but I don't think it really matters. Alright guys, I've got all my salmon in jars now. I'm just going to go over the lip with some white vinegar just to make sure there's nothing on there that's going to prevent me from getting a nice tight seal. Final stage for the jars is to get the lid on, and I'm going to screw these on tight, but I'm not going to reef on them. Okay, I just want a nice tight little seal. Some people say to do it as tight as you can with 2 fingers, but that's still too tight for me, so you just kind of get used to over the years and making sure the threads are on good and you get a good tight seal. Alright guys, this is the canner I've been using all season. When it's fall, Chinook and Coho season, guys, I don't put the canner away very often because, like I said, I'll either eat it fresh or I can it. That's kind of the way I do it. I know a lot of you guys are into smoking and things like that, which is also a very good way to preserve it. This canner came with this style, which I didn't like very much because you have to watch the gauge all the time. So I went out and bought this self-regulating, and we'll get into that once you see the canner going. This keeps it right at 11 pounds where it needs to be, and I don't really have to fuss with it that much. So on to the canning process. I'm just gonna throw my jars in without water. Making sure to leave a little space in between each one. And this is a 2-layer canner, guys. I'll mention that when I was doing the Coho yesterday, I used the trivet, and you can just put a second layer on here and it does really well, but we only have 6 jars of the king. So the next stage is to put water in here. I'll show you guys how we like to do that. Filling these jars up just over halfway. You don't want to submerge them, but at the same time you want to have enough water that you don't run out during the process. And then to this, I'm going to add the vinegar, which just keeps the jars nice and sparkly. You don't have to clean the jars afterwards. So that's about it for the pre-prep. Now I'm going to turn the burner on high, and we start to wait. Going to set this lid on. Going the right way. For now, I'm just going to set this on loose. Now wait till steam's coming out the edges, and then I'll show you the next step. Alright guys, you see that we've got a good amount of steam coming out this now, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to drop this lid down on, and we're going to wait again until we have steam coming out the cracks, coming out the surface, things like that. So we're going to give another 5 minutes or so, and then we'll get back to you. Alright, so you got steam coming out all around now. This lid's rattling a little bit, so I know we can lock this down now. It's forcing all that air out of there. And now the next thing we're looking for is for this gauge to pop up, and for us to have a very good amount of steam coming out of the other gauge. So that's going to take just a minute here. So as you guys can see, we got our pressure gauge up now. That means we're free to put our 10-pound regulator on there. And you're going to see right away we're going to start building up pressure. So obviously when you do this, don't get burned, guys. Alright, so we can watch this gauge now. It's going to take a minute. I'll show you guys once we start building up some pressure. Alright guys, you can see that we're starting to build pressure now. The gauge is going up. We're going to go all the way up to 11. Once it hits 5, I'm going to start slowly backing off on the temperature so that it doesn't overbuild pressure. I like it to come in a nice soft landing at 10 pounds. So we're over 5 guys. I've been gradually turning this temperature down so that we have a nice light soft landing into the 10 pounds. So as you guys can see now, our gauge is just getting over 10 pounds and our rocker is just starting to slowly go back and forth. What we want here is a nice steady rocking motion on our regulator, right? To accomplish this, I'm going to sit here and play with the temperature until it's dialed in exactly like I like it. Only then will I start the timer. Okay guys, we've been holding steady at that 11 pounds. We got the rocker going almost exactly like we want it. I've been playing with the temperature and it seems to be real stable. So only now am I going to start my timer for 90 minutes. 90 minutes. I will see you guys on the other side. Well, there goes my timer, guys. So the next step in the process is to just pull this off the burner, right? We are not going to be in a hurry to get into this thing. We're going to let it come down to temperature. This gauge is going to drop naturally, and then we'll take the rocker off and the lid and show you the next step. As you can see, our steam release has fallen, so we can go ahead and take this regulator off now. Always make sure to be careful not to burn yourself, guys. And there's not too much going on here, so I'm going to go ahead and pop this lid. Pull it off to the side. I am going to take these out using my handy dandy can removers here. And we'll set them on the counter. We're going to leave them there overnight, and as they're sitting there you'll hear them start to pop, and that indicates that the seals are starting to happen. But you can see, Chad gets in close there with his camera, that air is still racing out of there, all that pressure. So there's still a lot of activity going on there. And so the last step, guys, is to put these into storage. The next day, these have sat for 24 hours. I label them. Don't ever forget that part. I always put what it is and the year. You'll be surprised how fast time goes by. And then making sure it's sealed by just giving a little tap. And I'm not going to pull this like I'm pulling it off, but you can be very clear that it's sealed. The other thing, guys, is when you open these, if it smells bad, it's bad. If it's got mold on it, it's bad. You can use a lot of common sense, but I have not really ever had any trouble with this method. I enjoy it very much. That's going to be it for this video. If you guys want to see more videos like this, let us know in the comments. If you have a favorite recipe, a way that you like to store your fall salmon, let us know in the comments as well.